Chapter 6, The Benevolent Overlord, First Part. Greylancer had scarcely driven an hour out of the village when a gyrocopter appeared in the sky. A floodlight shone down upon the wagon on the highway and its driver. Greylancer did not halt the wagon as the light chased after from behind. "We are with the patrol force under Lord Merling's command," said a voice, issuing forth from the gyrocopter. "Excuse me, but you bear the appearance of a noble. Please state your name and destination." "The name is Greylancer. My destination? Yes, I thought it might be you." The voice of the patrolman interrupted. "My ignorance notwithstanding, please forgive my impudence. Allow me to escort you to the overseer's castle." "No." "Pardon?" "I intend to return directly to my dominion. Tell the others I want no more interruptions during my journey." "That would make me delinquent in my duties." The voice of the patrolman sounded rattled. "The reports of your disappearance came directly from the OSB attack force, and the capital has issued a search order throughout the world, including the frontier. It is an honor to find you here in this territory, of all places. Please come with us, I beseech you." "What is my name?" The noble's voice that seemed despaired from the earth shook the gyrocopter. "Lord Greylancer. I will not go, I tell you." The voice from the gyrocopter fell silent. After the wagon began to creep ahead of the floodlight, the patrolman said, "But if you require an excuse, tell Merlin that I find him disagreeable." The wagon continued on its way. 5 minutes later, a massive gyrodyne appeared before Greylancer. This aircraft exceeded 100 meters in length and bristled with military accoutrements reminiscent of lances and swords. It was plain for anyone to see that this aircraft belonged to a noble, no less one from a long line of warhawks. "What is a warrior the likes of Greylancer doing riding such a rickety box?" said a booming voice. Peering up, Greylancer said scornfully, "Zeus Macula," and continued to drive the wagon. Wait. As surly as ever, I see. I knew you would turn up alive somewhere. Well now, perhaps the fates have conspired for us to meet. I've been visiting with the invertebrate. I mean Merling. What say we renew old friendships? Reprehensible." Zeus let out a full-throated laugh. Yes, I expected as much. I didn't imagine you'd get along with the boy. Or with you." Zeus was silent, and then, All right. But surely the Northern Overlord cannot leave the West without paying respect to its ruler. Besides which, you'll be interested to know the Privy Council has made several decisions during your absence. With that wagon, your return to the north will take 3 nights. Perhaps you'd care to know sooner?" The wagon stopped. 3 minutes later, Greylancer and Zeus were drinking from red glasses in the Western Frontier Sector Overlord's sitting room. What is this swill? Hardly anything to serve a guest. Zeus slammed his glass on the table and began to pace the room with long strides. Synthetic blood. Greylancer drained his drink and stared at the glass, the crystal cup sparkling a different hue of red than the drink it once contained. If the Overlord drinks it, then his vassals can only do likewise. The humans are spared from having to pay blood tribute, which is why, far from being hated, Merling is extolled as a compassionate ruler. He's merely playing the hero, nothing more than a young buck ingratiating himself to the humans and reveling in his own reputation as a benevolent dictator. Point that finger somewhere else, Greylancer said. The Eastern Overlord lowered his right arm. Pardon me. As injured as Zeus sounded, he gave away no hint of anger. His rival was simply too formidable. Anyone knowing Greylancer well would say that he was the image of equanimity. Zeus had informed him that the attack on the OSB moon base had succeeded. The surviving OSB fled to Mars. Not only had he battle ended with fewer than 10 nobility casualties, Greylancer's corpse had returned unscathed. Zeus held back from revealing the Privy Council's decision until Merling joined them. "What are you plotting?" Greylancer arched a brow. "Nothing at all," protested Zeus. But his entire being seemed to conceal 100 machinations. The ruler of the Eastern Frontier Sector was a man born for chicanery. Now don't besmirch my good name. Why must you think such things of me? Because you've brought me here. Knowing you, I would have expected you to send me on my way and then fire a missile at my back. Now, I'm wounded that you see me in such a light, my friend. You misunderstand the concept of friendship. Now. I told you to point that finger somewhere else. Zeus did not yield this time. Realizing the noble was not pointing at him, Greylancer turned around. A figure shrouded in a purple cape stood at the door, which had opened unnoticed. A youthful, handsome face curved the same red lips as the others into a smile. This was Lord Merling, overseer of the Western Frontier Sector. "Welcome, my lords," he said, dispensing with calling them by name. He approached the others and noting the glasses on the table, he said, "The drink doesn't agree with you, I see. No matter. You can well savor the sweet stuff in your respective sectors. Lord Zeus Macula, forgive me for keeping you waiting." "Not long. Lord Greylancer here has been a welcome distraction." Going out to collect him helped pass the time. As magnanimous as he sounded, the words were dripping with sarcasm. Unruffled, Merling began, "I've had a look at the Privy Council's missive. So tell me what brought you here." "Then I'll leave you two to your business," said Greylancer, turning on his heels. Wait, said Zeus. "You must hear me out. I've already notified the North of my intention to visit. This fortuitous gathering couldn't be more convenient. Heaven send, really." "Let's have it," Merling said. "The Privy Council was greatly pleased by the victory on the OSB moon base and has declared the day a worldwide day of celebration," began Zeus. "A matter of common knowledge to all save one." The one sipped the synthetic blood after pouring himself another glass from the gold carafe. "The Privy Council has come to another decision, perhaps buoyed by their latest victory and the imminent day of reckoning," Zeus continued. "In 4 days' time, the sacred ancestor's birthday, they have decided to wipe out the OSB vanguard lurking all across the world." Merlin looked back at Zeus in shock, while Greylancer stopped the glass at his lips. "Why were we not informed?" asked Merling, fighting back anger. He need not question the veracity of the information. Zeus Macula's information was known to be infallible. There were rumors that Zeus was the bastard child of the member of the Privy Council. "How do they propose to do it?" Greylancer asked, the glass frozen in his hand. "Their plan is to carry out a plasma attack on the locations where OSB infiltrators are believed to be hiding. Plasma weapons are only fatal to the OSB and local human populations. I suspect the decree will be handed down tomorrow or the day after." "That's absurd," roared Merling. "I assume your outrage is directed at the Privy Council who chose to slight us." After shooting an icy look at the young noble, Zeus looked meaningfully at Greylancer and at Merling again. "Of course, this is hardly the first time the capital has decided to disregard the frontier. The Privy Council thinks of us as a bunch of country nobles who've fallen from the capital's good graces. This sentiment is also what begot this slight. But let us not forget that since the capital and frontier were established, we overseers have been accorded complete control over the frontier. Zeus Macula was referring to what was called absolute managerial rights. As long as each of the sectors supplied the capital with the blood tribute it demanded, the overseers were given complete administrative control of the frontier's political and economic affairs. Furthermore, it was the overseers that carried out the capital's orders, but whether such orders were carried out or not depended entirely on the overseer's consent or refusal. In a way, this tolerant, albeit lax system reflected the magnanimity of the Privy Council, but was also influenced by the immortality of the noble race. As long as those in the capital were kept sufficiently sated with blood, thereby relieving them of worries, they did not concern themselves with trivial matters. In this case, the human population was a trivial matter. We will allow you full reign over the frontier so long as you do not interfere with the capital's decisions. This implicit agreement simply did not pass muster with the three overseers. Nobles that they were, vampires valued pride above everything else. However, the rigor with which the overseers sought to preserve it to the frontier vastly differed from the vampires residing in the capital. No, that chasm between the Privy Council and the overseer was one surpassing the realm of tragedy, verging on the comedic. Given their disregard for our managerial rights, we must take measures to make the Privy Council acknowledge their wrongdoing. Any objections? The handsome young noble cast an icy look at Zeus's fevered face. How do you plan to do it? Answer me first. Do you have any objections? What say Marcella in the south? The female persuasion can be tricky. I thought to discuss it with you first. I believe I was an afterthought, Greylancer said casually. Zeus's expression tensed. Well now, he said, an audible smile in his voice. He grimaced and continued. My seeing you here is a fortunate coincidence, to be sure. But my intention has always been to seek the approval of the overseers. Whichever the case, I intend to go to the capital before raising my objections. Merlin declared. I refuse to overlook such an act of barbarism. I shall roundly denounce the members of the Privy Council myself. First part, and